This is how I got multiplayer working in FishNet, and I'll walk you through the basic steps for the next game I'm making. So this is FishNet, and you'd want to install it over here and into the Unity package manager, where you can go into here, go into my assets once you've installed it, go FishNet and download it and add it to your project. Next thing you do, go into assets, find wherever you imported FishNet, go into FishNet, go into demos, go into prefabs, find network manager and drag and drop it into the scene. To create a player, just create a capsule and rename it to player. Add network object as a child. I'm just going to create a folder for the player. Then you can drag and drop the player, so you can create a prefab for the player. Then delete that from the scene because you don't need that anymore. Then go into network manager and add the player prefab as the player prefab. Create some game objects as the spawn point. I would say 2 for testing. Place these wherever you want, hopefully where the camera can see them. Trust me, I made that mistake. Go back to the network manager and add these as spawn points into the spawn point tab. To create a second instance of the game, I'll show you a better way in a second, but for temporarily you can go and build and run and try and run that. That will automatically create a server and a client, and you can join in with your editor. Currently we have a game but no working character, which is kind of sad. So let's fix that by making a working first person character. There are a few basic concepts to learn from moving from single player to multiplayer, and I think I've gone through the basic ones here, and you can stick around and subscribe for more. Okay, so how this works is we got the player and I added a little camera to it. Here is the script. So we have all the variables at the start, including the inputs, which I use the new Unity 26 input actions, whatever. I don't really like it, but it is what it is. Input action asset, which is input actions, and on the onStart client, which is like the awake method. If it's not owner return, which is really important to prevent unauthorized usage. We take the map and we enable it, which is the input actions here, which you can get from assets and over here. This is the move, and as you can see, it gives you a vector 2. So we have to find that, and this is stored as move action, which we declared up here. Now when we go into handle movement, which is called on the update, we read the value and we're applying this x and y, so this will be a vector 2 xy, and since real space is x, y and z, we don't really want to apply the move direction, so this would be like from a joystick or WSAD. We don't want that to apply to the vertical, which we'll do later with the jump, but for now we set that as 0, and we're going to only change the x and z coordinates. However, if we didn't have this, that would cause a problem for you just moving in respect to the world origin, so we need to apply it to the forward, which is done by this. If this was the world plane x and z, and you wanted to move with WSAD, it'd probably move you like this, even if you're looking like this way, which is really trippy. So what you'd want to do is use the player origin, take that and apply it to the world origin. So now you'd start moving in the direction you're looking at, which is a lot better. Here we normalize it so that the sideways aren't super fast compared to the direction. If we add it, we get like a longer vector because, you know, Pythagoras, and we all know that. Because of that, C would be greater than A or B, and we don't really want that, so we normalize it to a 1. And we multiply this by the move speed to get the magnitude, and time.delta time because it's happening over time. Right now we're updating transform to position. Later we'll use character controller the next episode. To handle look, it is a similar concept. We'll take the mouse sensitivity and a vertical range and store the vertical rotation, which I'll explain in a second. Look input is the same as move direction as well. It's a vector 2. We're going to translate that to horizontal and vertical rotation. For vertical, we also want to clamp it because otherwise you could look all the way back over your head and like in an infinite loop, and that is super trippy and you don't want that. And we'll do some weird math stuff to apply this rotation into 3D space. You can study that if you want. I tried to understand it. I've forgotten it all. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's not that difficult. If you ever need to, you can always look at Wikipedia. Okay, so this is a really useful package, and it's called multiplayer play mode, and if you go into window, multiplayer play mode, you get this panel, and then generally I just put it here. You can now have virtual players, so I can test multiplayer. It's gonna take a second to load, but it is there now. So we have a game running here, and say I start, we have this player over here, and I can walk up to this guy, and I will center myself here on the camera, and I believe it updates in real time. As you can see,